so many enemies. Once again, this is another episode of Roosevelt Sounds Off. And this is Roosevelt Sounds Off. This is my year in review. Unless something happens, let me straighten up this tie a little bit, but I think it's okay. Unless something happens, this will probably be the last video that I bring to everybody in the year 2016. But in this year and everything, to make it, good and to make it clear, first of all, before I get started in that, I do want to tell everybody and give honor to God, to His Son Jesus, and to the precious Holy Ghost for keeping us and looking over us and looking over all of you in this last year, and to thank all of you for your views and for your likes and dislikes and all of your many support of Roosevelt Sounds Off in the year 2016. Hopefully this can go even further in the year 2017, because that is my goal for that to happen. Thank all of you viewers, and thank all of you all who do watch. Even thank for all you all who agree with me on certain things, and thank you to all of you all who disagree on some subjects as well. And just want to say happy holidays to everybody, and I hope everybody's going to have a very, very happy new year. Getting more into the year in review, this year I have dealt with some issues, especially like one subject in particular that is near and dear to my heart, which is the subject of police corruption, police brutality. Because in this year 2016, we have seen a couple of more police-related shootings, whether it be, the shooting of Philando Castillo in Minnesota, or either, Alton Sterling in Louisiana. And we also saw another shooting in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I do have to say that with these particular shootings, it is a shame that we still, in 2016, it's a shame that we are still dealing with this problem of police corruption and police brutality, and hope and pray that something will get better as time goes on. And that I think that to solve some of these kind of problems that we see, because many people in the black community especially feel that police officers don't understand them. And you got police officers, especially white officers, who don't understand the culture of the black community. And I always feel that good talking and just getting a good understanding is the best thing in the whole world. And I think that the two sides, whether it be like representatives in the black community and police, also need to sit down at the table and talk about some of these differences of how, police see us and how we even see police. And so that way some of these differences and problems can be solved. Because we do know that in this country that black people as a whole are more brutalized and killed by police, and even the ones who are more locked up into prisons more than white people. And I think that the prison system in this country is just bad anyway. Anytime this country is only like a little bit of percentile of the world, but yet it houses most of the world's so-called criminals and prisoners. You have all of these men and women locked up in this, so-called land of the free. And I don't really feel it's supposed to be like that. But I feel that it takes an understanding and that two sides can come together to help to solve this problem. And of course, going on in this year, I did reach my 50th episode. I was very, very happy about that. And a milestone for me is I actually learned how to edit, because like right now, you're enjoying Roosevelt Sounds Off with a nice little introduction and some theme music and everything, and a little title and everything. I learned how to master all of that in this year, even though I do want to do a whole lot more as far as editing goes, because there's other subjects I want to bring. And instead of just talking about it, what I would like to do is also show evidence of it. So that's going to require like some kind of like super editing, like showing clips of different pictures and showing other videos of things, and having the videos play before I give my opinion or my commentary. That's what kind of stuff that I want to do, is still bring hard-hitting content to you all, but just don't show you, or just don't give you like my opinion of it, or just what I say. If it's somebody who I'm talking about, who had said some words, I shouldn't have to just get on there and just say, well, this person said thus, 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 and so, or whatever it is. No, play the video or show the clip, and so you all, as the viewers, will be able to see what this person said on a video for yourself. And then, I might give my opinion on my commentary and everything on what happened. But then, as a viewer, you will be able to make an educated, choice as to what you have seen and interpret it the right way. That's something that, you have the responsibility of doing. Is, make sure that you're interpreting in the right way after you have seen what you've seen. But yes, I also need to make sure that you see certain things so you can get a good understanding of it. So that's something I really want to do, is get more into editing. So ever since 50, I have been editing even more and learning much more and more about that, and and trying to help to bring this stuff alive, not just come on here and just run a camera and just talk, but bring it alive and make it something, and make it a good product that somebody would actually really enjoy watching. And from what I've heard from some of you all actually believe that in some of the editing that I have done, some of you all actually believe that it's a good job, and I thank you for it. And in this year I've also, like I said, reached my 50th episode. I did something very, very big, which I talked about the King Alfred plan, which I thought it was good to talk about, because it was something that I stumbled upon. Matter of fact, it was a video from certain pastor named Ray Hagins, and I ran up on his video of the King Alfred plan. Only he outlines it far deeper than what I have outlined it, because I only outlined it, I just scratched the surface, but he really, really goes deeper into it. And I basically talked about it, and I wanted it to be something big for my 50th episode, because in this year 2017 coming up, during the inauguration of our so-called President Donald Trump, I believe that something like the King Alfred plan can really be used against blacks, Latinos, Asians, and even white sympathizers, and just all of us here in America, who are against the election of Trump, since Trump, wants to do certain things that other people don't want him to do. But, I'll get into that when I talk more about my story of the year. And, and I talked about the illusion of freedom, that was in the next video, where I basically had said that even though they try to tell us in this country that we are free, in reality we're really not. We're still all in bondage, and we're still all enslaved, and I even explained why. And I explored another video about the Cook County drink tax or beverage tax that was passed here in Chicago, how on July 1st, that it's going to be a penny per ounce, and I basically talked about how that's going to affect people and affect, grocery shopping, and even affect some of us who go out to restaurants, because I'm pretty sure that restaurants and everybody, the prices and stuff are going to be higher and all of that. And I had like one interview with Untrail Boy, he's a guy on the west side. He's better known as Butt Packs. He videotapes and everything, a lot of people and a lot of things on the west side, and puts it on Facebook. And so I think that was a good interview. And I've dealt with a whole lot of things in talking about these different subject matter, but I believe that my most recent video was, does it really matter? Then that's why I talk about how people basically, as a society, I think that we trip over small fry stuff, even in the justice system. I mean, you could see police, they could punish for a smaller crime, but never punish for anything big. I mean, they want to pull you over for something small. I mean, just like what happened to my godson today. He's only 15 years old, but a police officer, two white officers stopped him and searched him and everything without even giving him a reason how come they searched him. I mean, but that's what happened. And I think this kind of stuff is wrong, and it needs to be changed. And I don't think that people need to be stopped or frisked over smaller stuff. And I really don't believe that that we as a society need to enforce smaller crimes, because, I mean, it's so much big stuff out here that it makes the small stuff seem small, insignificant and minute, like it always is. Now, I do have to get into some historical things that happened in this year. As we had the greatest, Muhammad Ali, pass away from us this year. And we had Prince, the artist known as Prince, pass away. We even had Vanity with her fine self, also known as Denise Katrina Matthews, in February passed away. And the one thing I like about her is that she did get saved, and she was an evangelist before she passed. And people always say that when you get saved and everything, you don't have to worry too much about those kind of people, because we know exactly where they are. They're in the arms and in the bosom of Jesus. So that's cool. But we also saw the passing of Fidel Castro, who was like one of the longest reigning heads of state in history over Cuba. We saw the passing of the King of Thailand, Bami Boliduriade, who has been the King of Thailand ever since 1946, and sat on the Thai king the throne ever since 1946. So he passed away. And on a good note, the Chicago Cubs won the 2016 World Series. First time that's ever happened in over 100 years. But the main story of the year that I really, really would love to get to is the election of Donald Trump. It's historical because no other man without a military background or without a background in politics has ever been elected as the president of these United States. But I believe that this is going to be a bad thing for America, because there's a whole lot of stuff that he wants to do and that he wants to put in place that's going to hurt people. He wants to end all welfare and government programs, programs that actually help people and do things for people. And he wants to end the whole Obamacare thing, but right now doesn't have a clue on what he wants to replace it with. And he's the main one who's so much against immigrants that he's talking about building a wall. And I have to, like I've said it before, but I think it bears repeating, I have to agree with the Pope, or Pope Francis I, on this one. That anytime you sit up and act like he acts and talk like he talks, you're not even a Christian. You're not a Christian. Because anytime you got a person who can sit up and just keep talking idly about building a wall instead of building bridges, trying to help and bring people together, then that person is not a Christian. And the only thing that they want to do is just, divide and conquer and just cause more problems than whatever it is that they want to. And it seems like he wants to do every single thing completely opposite of what every single president has done. As being the president, you have to move to Washington, D.C. No, he doesn't want to move to Washington, D.C. He wants to go do his own thing and still live in New York City. Matter of fact, I hear that his wife and son, Barron, who looks almost just like him, is going to stay in New York City until he graduates from school, as he puts it. And plus, there's a whole lot of stuff that he says and the way that he talks and everything, about people, and talks down to people. And it's bad anytime you got a candidate that the Aryan Nation and the Ku Klux Klan have endorsed. And I believe sometimes, I pray for these problems with policing and police brutality to get better. But now that Trump is about to get in office, I am wondering, will it ever get any better? Because he is completely for the police, no matter what kind of dirt that they do. And he says that we're gonna, what does he always say? That we're gonna make America great again. The Republicans' motto is, we're gonna take our country back. When they talk about taking the country back, that means taking the country back to a time where there is no affirmative action, where minorities did not have any kind of a rights to a job, when there just be a time of something doing racial prejudice. Basically, we'll be back in the 1930s, 1940s, during the time of Jim Crow, where black people couldn't go into bathrooms and sit at the lunch counters in restaurants and couldn't go to certain hotels. Even famous black people like Duke Ellington or Lionel Hampton, places that they performed, they had to go through the back door because they couldn't come through the front door because blacks were not allowed in. This is what someone like Donald Trump wants. This is what he wants. This is what he wants, is to enslave and encamp all black and Latin and even Muslim citizens. This is what he wants, to spy on every single American, and doesn't want to be criticized, and always wants to have a stupid emotional response just because everybody, or just because some people talk about him. This is what kind of stuff that he wants. I'm listening to Inside Edition earlier today, and his daughter, Ivanka Trump, gets on a plane, and just because a passenger had an opinion about Donald Trump, which is Ivanka Trump's father, and says, he walked over to her and said, Ivanka Trump, I'm sorry to say that your father is dividing and ruining this country. He gets so upset, I guess, that the stewardesses or whoever go and put him off of the plane, all because he had an opinion. This is what someone like Donald Trump wants. He wants to cater to racism, to Islamophobia, and to xenophobia. This is what he wants. This could be the worst president we ever have had. I mean, I hear that there's even some people who didn't even buy for the Christmas season like they normally would buy, because more people are so scared of Trump that they are saving up their money just in case they have to up and leave this country suddenly. This is what he wants, is to divide and conquer and divide every single body instead of bringing people together. The country is probably more divided now than it's ever been, and it's gonna get worse. So yeah, in 2017, around the election time, I probably will be having another trilogy of the inaugurational trilogy. I'm probably going to be doing a 3-part series on that. A day before, and a day of, and a day after, if I could stomach it and not get physically ill for watching the inauguration of Donald Trump. Right now, you know, and I'm gonna be honest whenever I say it, it's only one thing at this point I hope and pray. I hope and pray that something will happen in this country before January 20th. So it's some kind of a way, a miracle unto God, that he will not take office. I'm hoping. Because truly, really and truly, if he takes office, I think this is going to be the beginning and the end of this country. Because no other president has been so controversial in stuff that they have done, certain stuff that they have said. And even though he ran against Hillary Clinton, and you all who have watched me for a while know that I've had my issues with Hillary Clinton as well. I don't think, it might not have been as bad as this, but I don't know. I thought Hillary could be just as bad, but maybe this could be a whole lot worse. But a whole lot of people, and I hate some of you religious types and everything out there who want to talk about, like I saw a video on Facebook the other day talking about, a minister talk about, you know, at this time I think that we need to pray for Donald Trump. Pray that God and the Holy Spirit give him direction as to how to guide this country. What? Pray for a man who's going to die and on his way to hell? This orange-looking, stupid, racist idiot I'm supposed to pray for? He'll never be my president. If I had to meet him, I wouldn't say Mr. President. It'll only be Trump or Mr. Trump, or what about just plain Don Juan or something? He'll never be my president. Pray for this man that the Holy Spirit uses him to guide this country when this man is not even a Christian. This man is not even saved. all the stuff that he's done and said about women and just the bombastic way that he acts. Just nothing but a plain stooge and a plain buffoon. But yet this is somebody who we're supposed to pray for. No. Not me. Not today. Not tomorrow. Not on my watch. Won't happen. Thank you very much. So that is what I have to bring to you all on this evening. That is my little short year in review, because that has gone on. And plus, before I forget, we also need to keep in mind a few of those that we did lose in this year. Remember, this year also made some history because this was the year of the most tragic day in law enforcement, when 5 or 6 police officers were killed in Dallas, Texas. So we honor them. I honor my late cousin, Reverend Dr. Leona Cochran.